But the one thing to me that stands out when a lot of these tournaments, and both of you can definitely tell me about this, is the most important thing, arguably, is not the names that's on paper, it's the unity, it's playing as a team, it's playing together rather than a set of individuals. And we've seen Italy doing that. Haven't got the biggest names, but they are playing as a unit. Yes, you can argue perhaps they also haven't really been tested in their unbeaten run as well. But do you see England playing as a unit, Rob?
It's difficult because we're comparing ourselves up against the best, and then all of a sudden, sort of next round, it's going to be the better teams that we're up against and one of the best teams, and that's where the expectation is. If you'd have said, and Glenn makes a great point, if you'd have said at half-time today, you'll see this game out with the opposition not having a shot on target, regardless of whether England had a shot on target or not, you're guaranteeing yourself a win to win the game, barring an own goal. So it's something that they'll be pleased with that. I just feel that, to answer your question, Michelle, that you're looking at such a difficult quandary of circumstances and scenarios with COVID, with the end of the season, where we had 2 friendlies before the tournament, which 12 of the 26 players couldn't play in because they've been playing in Europa and Champions League finals. So it really does bring sort of a difficult scenario where you say, are we good as a cohesive unit? These guys haven't played together for months, and then all of a sudden expected to do it on the biggest stage. So it's a lot to ask of. We're not there yet. We're through the group without conceding a goal. It's not the end of the world, is it?
Yeah, but England aren't the only ones who have been affected by all these scenarios with COVID and a packed schedule as well on the domestic league. There are other sides who have had to deal with it, but Gareth Southgate, Glenn, how do you think he's managed it? Because as Rob mentioned, he's had a lot of his players as well in the warm-up matches, which isn't ideal for preparation. On top of that as well, there is a different mix of players in this side. We're seeing a lot of newbies in this tournament that otherwise wouldn't have been selected if Euro was last summer. So he's had to deal with a lot of different situations. How do you think Gareth Southgate has handled all that?
Yeah, I think he's done a good job. I think, you know, like you say, the situation and the build-up wasn't ideal, but like I say, not just for England, for everybody. Not many teams get enough time together. I guess my only sort of, not criticism, but my only point to give the lads an extra chance would be in those final games leading up before this tournament, rather than tinkering around, because at the time, Gareth knew his best 11 at that time. You know, he wasn't playing the final warm-up game to see who could squeeze into his starting 11. So for me, our best team should have started that game just to get another 90 minutes, or well, another 75 minutes together under their belt. But as you know, that's just my preference. He's obviously using all the squad, which is great because we do have a good squad. But as Rob says, you can't. You know, these guys probably spend 45 days a year together. It's not a lot. So I think the more time they can spend on the pitch and training pitch together, then of course it's only going to help them gel with each other.
Yeah, because I think that's one of the challenges for Gareth Southgate, to blend all these players together, not just the newbies as well. I think if you look back at his last major tournament, 2018, majority of Southgate's core players, Rob, has been Spurs players. When you think of Dele Alli, Dyer, with Harry Kane, of course, that's still there as well. It's a little bit of a different dynamic this time. He's incorporating different styles of these players on a club level and bringing it into international football, and you don't get a lot of the time together. Just how difficult is that? Because when I compare it to Czech Republic, a lot of these Czech Republic players come from the education of Slavia Prague. They've crossed paths with each other, been educated in a similar sort of way, some of them in Sparta Prague as well. And that's a challenge for Gareth Southgate. And how difficult is that?
Yeah, I think they have the country like Czech Republic have a smaller pool, and in a way that works better. We're talking about continuity and cohesive unit. You're looking at the Czech team; it was unchanged, and they wanted to stay with that team. This is our strongest 11. Let's get the best result that we can from this game. So, you know, there's arguments for it. We're managing legs, managing players, and bringing on players of the future. Now, what I would say with that is, at some point, we've been doing that for a long time now. Gareth Southgate's been in charge for 5 years, and it's always been, we are preparing for some point in the future. At some point, it's got to be now. So it's a difficult one in terms of, yes, the mix is changing all the time, but realistically, we're in the middle of a major tournament, which we've got a chance of winning. Then play your strongest team all the time. So it's one that there's a lot of arguments in many directions. For me, a lot of the time, it's just, look, play your strongest 11, get them out there, get them performing together. Because of the scenarios we talked about, they've not had that much time together.